What's cracking with you people? Anansi here and welcome back to Sudeki. In the last one, we finished raiding the Eclorian stronghold and retrieved the Vessel of True Sight. I had a dumb moment and forgot that the Shadow Nexus was sitting literally 5 feet from me and I could have just teleported halfway across the world map instead of walking back. So I went back and I did. And now we're going to take the Vessel of True Sight to Queen Caprine and finally get us some answers, because that's what because according to Queen Caprine, that's what the vessel does. It gives us the answers we seek. There is no lie that the Vessel of True Sight cannot uncover. Well, specifically, it's supposed to follow where the light leaves from Ecloria. And what's the word for here? And goes to where the light is being drained. So that's pretty much it. Here's hoping that we get our answers pretty soon.
It's hard to believe that Ecloria was once as rich and green as Ascilia. Really? Sometimes it seems to make perfect sense. Even with Scientine in such a run-down state, you can still see similarities with Illumina. Well, look at us, for example. Us. You and me. I hate to admit it, but I think we make a good team. And the resemblance is there for all to see. We could be brothers. No thanks. My brother died. Really? Well, you were lucky. My brother's wanted for murder and treason. I guess we won't be playing happy families together. Huh? I didn't know. Look, can we move on now? I'm sorry, but my family life has always been screwed up. I'm sorry, too. Don't be. I intend to have my revenge. I suppose that's not an option for you. What happened? He was murdered by one of the first Eclorian raiding parties. But hey, you were right. This conversation's heading nowhere fast. Let's get back to Scientine. That is the first sensible thing you have said all day, brother.
My past is catching up to me. Although I removed my shadow in Ascilia, perhaps there is still work to be done to prevent the line of Karistan from rising again. Surely this wretched sibling cannot be chosen over me. Whatever. I share blood with Kazel. This blood must be spilt. But first, I must find Elco and force him to finish his machine in time for my master's return.
Your Majesty, I'm afraid there's been another accident. Should we continue?
Of course! Look, it is regrettable that such a thing might happen, but our work is not yet done. Send his widow our condolences and get the mess cleaned up. I want all the towers completed and ready for crystal installation as soon as possible. Now get out. I have more important things on my mind other than your staffing problems.
Excellent work. When you're ready to see the truth, come and find me in my courtroom and I will prepare the spell.
Oh no, here he comes. How can they say I look like him? He walks like an idiot.
Elco! You are not pleased to see them back? Of course. It's good. Yeah, it's good. They're safe.
Ah, I see. You are worried for what will happen next. All of this, it challenges you, no?
It has been a trying time. It's also surreal. I keep expecting to wake up.
It's a shame you say that. A dream is a fantastic thing. I used to dream all the time. I was a painter, you see. I saw art all around me. Such beautiful colors. Then the light began to fade. And I woke up.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. I try to explain my nightmare and you tell me not to wake up. I've had enough mumbo-jumbo. Give me some facts.
I didn't want to upset you. We shall see the truth in the morning. Maybe you need your rest, but it's best not to wait too soon. You might find this dream over before you work out how it should end.
There she is. It's alive with power. How can something so beautiful be the cause of such consternation? Could a mere crystal have anything to do with the darkness in Agloria? My research didn't indicate anything of the sort. Of course, I only looked at the effects in Askylia. Aglorians attribute their misfortunes to anyone but themselves. Caprine speaks in riddles just to confuse people. It is the Aglorian army that raids our homelands, not the other way round. Come on then, Elco. What are you waiting for? Take it! Take it for Askylia! For Lucica! Take it with the arm that she paid for! The arm that gave you a second chance at life! You owe it to her! Oh, damn your eyes, Elco! Where is the courage of your convictions?
And here we are at a crossroads. This is the first time we get to get a multiple choice thing for the characters. We can either have Elco steal the crystal or leave the crystal. This has no bearing on the story or anything to do whatsoever, and the same thing results every single time. So I'm going to go with what I think would make the most appropriate sense for Elco in this moment, or at least what I think would make the most appropriate sense for Elco in this moment. And that is, leave the crystal.
Elco.
Lord Talos, what are you doing here?
Her Majesty requires your services. I am here to escort you home.
Home?
I'm sure you will be delighted to see how your work progresses in your absence.
And now we have a new quest and a new temporary ally, Talos. So, our new quest, return to Illumina Castle. Accompany Lord Talos back to Illumina Castle and present the chlorine crystal to Queen Lucica. Okay, so a lot of stuff happened just now. Like, a lot of stuff happened to unpack. So for one thing, we have Kafu. That is Elco's counterpart's name. He's a chlorine counterpart anyway. Oh, by the way, Talos, don't worry about Talos not going to take care of himself. He is more than capable of doing so. Got a couple of scribes here. Let's go ahead and use Elco's Spirit Strike, the Storm of Wrath. Levius blasts his enemies with a massive electrical storm.
None can stand before us when the spirits are with us!
Being legit, Elco's Levius summon is actually pretty legit, because Levius It says an electrical storm, but what Levis actually does is he just summons up a bunch of rocks and stuff and creates like a mini meteor that he then just slams on the ground. It is really interesting to look at. But yeah, no. So let's start off with the obvious. Let's start off with well, let's get the small stuff out the way. Elco stealing or leaving the crystal. It has no bearing on the story. There's no reason to do either one or the other. It's just whichever one you think thematically makes the most amount of sense. Granted, what I did only thematically makes sense if the story had progressed the way I personally think it should have progressed. If you choose to steal the crystal, what happens is...
Well, I must say I'm surprised that you haven't nicked off in the night like your thieving friend. What did she mean by that little outburst?
Just what she said. Your friend Elco ran off last night.
With the Achlorian crystal. It seems his work comes first after all.
Elco, have the gods taught you nothing?
Let's not jump to any conclusions.
Ha! It's admirable that you stand by your friend, but I fear the truth will come out.
We are not scared of the truth. Let's get this over with.
So yeah, as we're leaving Achlorian and whatnot, we have these instances moving around and whatnot. I forgot to show off something that I meant to do earlier. I thought I would have a chance to do it now. Well, do it before we got back to the castle, or to the Citadel. And I forgot to do so. So what you're supposed to do is when you have control of a Tal with Kazel, Nico, and Alexine, if you go back into the Science Citadel, you can talk to Buki, Ailish, and Elco. And Elco, for some inexplicable reason, is in his level 2 outfit. Is one of the most random things out there, but he is in it. And I meant to show that off. I completely forgot, and I don't have any saves before that incident. I'd have to, I have to go start a new game. So yeah, there we are. Maybe if I do an anniversary playthrough of this thing, I'll try to remember to do that. But I honestly could have sworn that I could do it earlier. That's on me. I might do a bonus video. Who knows? But it wouldn't be very long. But yeah, so if you have Elco steal the Achlorian crystal, he does the exact same thing as if you were to choose to leave the Achlorian crystal. I.e., he shakes his head, leaves it down, leaves it where it is, and then Talos comes behind and takes care of it. Go take the form. Now, while we're still on the subject of Elco and Kafu. As you can see from that very short interaction, Kafu is the creative part of Elco. He's the creative element to Elco. In terms of how they're opposites, Elco is hardcore science. Science true and through. There is no way some kind of magical interference prevents this portal from working. Interesting. Or something to do with Talos there. Kafu is Elco is hardcore science. I need facts. You can see him getting frustrated in that cutscene. It's very short, very to the point. No extra added fluff. He just wants some facts. He's tired of mysticism and riddles. He just wants to be told plain and told simply. Kafu is the complete opposite. He likes to do it. He likes to create a side of life. He was a painter. Odd choice as an opposite. You'd think he'd be a devoted religious nut, but no, he was a painter. He was an artist. Which if you really think about it, actually makes more sense than have him be the religious counterpart to Elco, because Buki already fills that role. Elco is hardcore science, hardcore facts. Kafu's hardcore fantasy. He loves living in the fantasy. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And that's where Elco gets frustrated. Elco could honestly, truly open up the Kafu for as long as it was worth it, you know, as long as he really could. But in the end, like, wow, Talos seems really out of place inside this world. So you can really tell he's from a Chloria instead of a Hesperia because his skin tone is just way darker. But yeah, no. Elco opened up the Kafu because Kafu is like, and I like the little joke where it's like,
how could I have let this situation get so out of hand?
You can kind of see like Kafu's telling us that, you know, sometimes it's better to be in a dream rather than just waking up, because sometimes a dream is a lot more it's a lot more comforting than reality. But at the same time, Kafu is also, you know, also in the wrong as well. You need to have some reality, some basis in fact to keep yourself grounded. And you know, there are the arguments to and for everything going on. So I like how they went about doing that, you know. But it does harken back to my real point here. Elco and Kafu should have had that conversation way earlier in the game, and really earlier in the story, I should say, because having it happen now really kind of undercuts what's going to happen in this next hour or so of story. But we can get into that a little bit later. Right now, I want to talk about Talos and what Talos said in his little cutscene, where Elco Talos was talking to Gazelle about how what's going on here? Oh, I got hit some weakness does. Well, you just made my life easier. And you know, we find out that Talos' brother was killed in a Florian raid. And immediately after it, we find out that Talos' brother was killed by Gazelle's brother. That Gazelle's brother is the reason that Gazelle wanted to remove Talos' brother in the real world, in Illumina, because he was essentially jealous of Gazelle being chosen to be whatever it was. I guess for the Age of Unity or something. And he didn't like that, so he went to remove his, as he put it, his shadow in Illumina, to prevent the line of Karistan from rising again, which hints something a little bit different than what we've been led to believe in the story. And what we were led to believe in the story is that Tetsu essentially is just choosing people at random, or I guess people he deems worthy to carry on the legacy of his champions. But now it's coming out, or at the very least the way Talos explains it, is that Karistan is his ancestor. Karistan is Gazelle and Talos' ancestor, which makes Elevatus, Ailish, and Naquilextine's ancestor, Mo. You know, it's like direct descendant kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit that's a little bit much. All right, we killed the scribe, so their summons died. Completely forgot about that. And you know, I mean, I get where they're coming from with that. I do. But at the same time, it's a little bit corny. Oh, by the way, I meant to point this out. Yeah, so this is the sad song about this would have been Ailish's home if, you know, if that rumor I heard about Talos and whatnot is true. The Talos kidnapping and whatnot. But yeah, it kind of goes contrary to what we've been established in the story. So it's another one of these where it's like, I feel like they knew what they wanted to do, and maybe they might have miswrote it or something, but, you know, it is what it is at this point. You just kind of have to deal. And, you know, it's nothing too crazy, nothing too extreme, nothing too different. And honestly, you can interpret it any way you want to. You kind of make it where it's like, okay, well, maybe it's not Illumina Opal. Have we actually gotten one of these before? I'm sorry, I gotta look this one. I gotta look at this real fast. Have we actually gotten one of these before? Right? Have we? Yes, we have. Okay, my bad. I'm all over the place. So, oh, and Elco has enhancements to get. Nifty. Let's put his essence up one, and let's put his power up again. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like you can interpret it as Talos is like hinting that they're direct descendants, or that it could be like, you know, the line of Karastan, or like the symbolic line of Karastan, not the literal line of Karastan, that kind of thing. So it's all depending on how you look at it. Oh, crap crystal. Okay, not too bad. Fun fact: I actually used to think that Talos was actually Tal's counterpart in Ecloria, because they both had the same first 3 letters. But then I thought about more of a story going on. I was like, that would not make any amount of sense, because Talos literally says he killed his own shadow. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. But we'll get more into that next time. I've been Anansi. You've been awesome, and I'll catch you later.